All right, let's do some news story. We haven't done this in a while. Let's start off with this one right here. Been wanting to do this for a couple days. It's time. We're going to update on Brittney Griner. The update is WNBA Brittney Griner is found guilty. Sentenced to 9 years. Brittney Griner found guilty, could get 9.5. But there is a deal on the table. Russia is open that deal, ladies and gentlemen. There is an update of the update. Russia is open to a prisoner swap, and we got one they are interested in, so it could be easily that Brittney could come home tomorrow, next month, maybe when the playoffs begin, and if Phoenix Mercury make the playoffs, she can return to her team. We don't know. But let's get to the story, shall we?
Has not been found guilty.
Yeah.
And found guilty could get 9.5 years in a Russian prison because of a vape cartridge. Let me give you some background. A Russian court has now sentenced U.S. basketball star Brittney Griner to 9 years in prison on Thursday after finding her guilty of deliberately bringing cannabis-infused vape cartridges into Russia. Griner had admitted to having the vape cartridges containing the oil, but said it was an honest mistake. Before the verdict, she pleaded with a Russian judge to not end her life with a harsh prison sentence before breaking down in tears in court. The court also fined her 1 million rubles. That's about 17,000 bucks. In her testimony last week, Griner expressed puzzlement as to how this even happened. She said, and I quote, "I still don't understand to this day how they ended up in my bag," said Griner. "If I had to guess on how they ended up in my bags, I was in a rush packing." Griner had been prescribed medical marijuana in the United States to relieve pain from chronic injuries, a treatment method that is common among elite athletes because it has fewer side effects than painkillers. President Joe Biden has already released a statement. That statement reads, "Today, American citizen Brittney Griner received a prison sentence that is one more reminder of what the world already knew. Russia is wrongfully detaining Brittney. It's unacceptable, and I call on Russia to release her immediately so she can be with her wife, loved ones, friends, and teammates. My administration will continue to work tirelessly and pursue every possible avenue to bring Brittney and Paul Whelan home safely as soon as possible." Now, I want to remind everyone, there's a potential deal on the table to make a trade, right?
Yes, there has.
But
and Russia is open discussion of a trade.
While Brittney Griner is a celebrity WNBA basketball player and humanitarian, she's a mentor and everything else, she does the same for Russia. So during the off season from the WNBA, she actually plays in Russia, and she has Russian citizens, especially girls and women.
Yeah. Let me stop that for a second, ladies and gentlemen. The reason why a lot of the WNBA players go overseas and play for different countries, even Russia, because WNBA the ladies don't get enough recognition. And this is why I do videos, showcasing women's gymnastics, softball, volleyball, and showcasing about women, because we live in a society that women don't get paid the same amount as men. And people want to rail on me about that, about saying, doing videos about this and that. That's fine. I don't care. But we got bigots in this country, closed-minded, state actor, crisis actors as well. Muffin crew. So we know who they are. We don't need to say their names. But anyway, back to this subject on topic. The woman doesn't get enough recognition. It's all about the men's sport, especially when it comes to football. It's all about football, especially in the category of the NFL. Then what's the second biggest popular sport nowadays? Well, you a lot are going to say it's baseball, MLB. Then the NBA. A lot of people are going to get a lot too about recognition about NHL. But NHL gets up there. But here's the problem I had as well. I mean, how many millions of dollars do star quarterbacks or cornerbacks or tight end tackles, they get paid $20, $30 million a year. You get baseball players, star players get $25, $30 million, even pitchers out there as well. Juan Soto was offered $10 million, $440 million. He turned it down. He got traded. But you got other players, the star players back there, that get $250 million contracts for 8 years. I mean, you get star players getting paid the big bucks. NHL players get about like that. What I like to say, but NBA players get big bucks. I mean, you get some of them that get big contracts. I mean, LeBron is talking about negotiating a contract where he's going to get paid what, $50 million a year, and he's what, 37. You get other big star players out there getting big bucks, 30, 40, $50 million contracts in there, max deals. I mean, hockey players don't get paid like they get about 4, 5, maybe 6. Even star players, maybe 10 at the most. Women pro athletes get paid no more, maybe $150,000, $200,000. WNBA players get $250,000. It's kind of hard to live on that, especially when the inflation, gas prices, food prices going through the roof as well. I mean, the cost of rent, everything's going through the roof. So yeah, it's sometimes these athletics have to go overseas or another country or trying to look for a handout for a contract for a paycheck, because in society, ladies and gentlemen, women don't get enough recognition and appreciation. I mean, you get a woman and a man doing the same job, she'll get about maybe 75% of the paycheck what the man gets. It's time to wake the fuck up, seriously, people. Instead of, try to destroy, obliterate somebody, it's time to wake up. Open your eyes and see what is happening in society with women and women's sports and athletics. Let's continue.
Who will find her after the game, get autographs, take pictures, look up to her. They find her to be an inspiration.
Yes.
Even in Russia. So while we talk about...
I mean, you got college athletes as well. I mean, like gymnastics or even softball. I mean, Josh and Oho. Yeah, the women's softball player that broke the NCAA all-time women. You got little girls that look up to this woman out there. I mean, you got little girls that look up to Sonny Lee as well, to Jay Carey. Yeah, Jordan Bowers. And other as well as too.
On her in the context of the WNBA. And
I mean, you get little girls are looking up to WNBA players like Skylar Diggins. I mean, Sue Bird, especially Brittney Griner, Diane Taurasi.
States of America. She's also a celebrity in Russia and has a significant following of young girls who admire.
Jordan Childs is another one that's gymnastics.
All right. Possible route for freedom. Possible. Griner's defense lawyers said they would appeal. The defense team said that in sentencing, the court had ignored all evidence they had presented, as well as Griner's guilty plea. They said they were disappointed by the verdict. Griner's sentencing could now pave the way for a U.S.-Russia prisoner swap that would include the 31-year-old athlete and an imprisoned Russian who was once a prolific arms dealer.
Yeah.
Now, I understand what her defense is saying. Her defense counsel is basically saying, listen, if she would have gone to trial and drew this process out, this is basically the time she would have received. You have a maximum here of 10 years. So she pleaded guilty. She said, listen, no matter what, I'm responsible for what was in my luggage, regardless of how it got there, even if it was an accident. She does all of this, and the court completely ignored it.
Yeah.
Completely 100% decided to disregard it.
And that's another hypocrisy bullshit as well. Like, you get people who say, well, if you make a mistake, even an accident, you should be accountable. If you break the law, you should face a fine, going to jail. Like, whatever happened to say, yeah, I made a mistake. Or I say, yeah, it was an accident. Or I made a mistake. Or, yeah, but I owe to it. But you still, like, you get people out there so closed-minded out there, they don't care. They still want you to be held accountable. They want you to face a fine. They want you to go to jail for a long time. They say, oh, it doesn't matter, a law is a law, or if you make a mistake, it's a mistake. Well, there's different things as kind of a mistake. There's different kind of things a law be broken. I mean, you get people out there that go out there and commit violent assaults out there, or some people get raped and they get like maybe a couple years or suspended sentence. You get people out there get assaulted, like fucking bitch ass DeCone was talking about. He said he can go out there and assault somebody with a deadly weapon, or kick their butt and assault them really bad. Like aggravated assault, and he's talking about I could get like a couple months. Yeah, well, kind of true as well. I remember a couple years ago, some guy beat up a Tri-Man bus driver, and he only got like 6 months. That's crazy.
And gave her virtually the same amount of time that she would have received if she went to trial and got convicted much later. All right, Ms. Khan, thoughts on this?
Yeah, the thing with Brittney Griner is, 9 years is obviously a very harsh sentence for anyone just for cannabis possession, but unfortunately it's not the worst than some of what we've seen here in our own country.
Yeah.
We have people who are serving much longer in prison still for cannabis possession. And for me, this story is about the justice system. And I know that we're talking about a different country here, but it's about justice across the board. What is the point of it, right? Justice shouldn't punish people who make mistakes, especially a mistake that any of us could easily have made. And of course, I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt when I say that this was indeed an oversight on her part and not a deliberate attempt to violate the laws of another country. And justice shouldn't punish people so harshly for crimes that aren't actually hurting people. Yep. Is Brittney Griner a threat to society? Is she a dangerous person who needs to be locked away and kept away from people? No. And yes, there are consequences for violating the rules, but I think we can all agree that this is way too much for what she did.
Yeah. We don't stand up enough for black women in this country. I'm standing up for Ms. Griner. I will be quite frank with you. I don't give a damn if it was there intentionally or not. Giving this woman 9.5 years for a victimless crime is insanity. And I do hope the State Department will continue their efforts and bring Ms. Griner.
Yeah, exactly. It's like my crimes. The 2 crimes I have mentioned over and over on videos, they were victimless crimes. But you're gonna have the muffin crew say otherwise. Well, I'll tell them good luck bring the shit to light, because they won't. I think it's crazy as well too. Like I said, you get people that commit crimes out there like felonies or assaults or all kinds of shit like that. Like joyride or like robbery, they get less time with Griner as well. Of course, you get these shill bags who can say, well, you break the law, you got to go to jail, but the law is the law. Oh, we should just shut our mouths off and back to blue. The only blue lives matter. Yeah, okay. And you got the same on the breath. These shill bags are going to protect real sickos and creeps and pedophiles, but they want to rail on other people because they don't like their freedom of speech. I mean, that's crazy. With that said, I'm out of here. Mike, y'all. Peace out.